Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Cinema View. I'm so excited to be doing this. I've been wanting to do this video for actually pretty much since I started this channel, and I just haven't been able to figure out how I was gonna do it. And luckily there have been more women that have been added to this list since then, so I think this is just like the best time to be doing this. I am going to be talking about the 10 best female horror directors to watch right now. And I just feel like we need to be giving more attention and space and just like elevate like female horror directors, because there have been some really great directors that have been making great stuff over the last few years, and I'm so excited to get into it. Yes, Candyman is coming, and it is directed by Nia DaCosta, and she is not on this list because I've not seen Candyman yet, but obviously she is a new sort of female horror director making horror films, and I'm so excited to see Candyman. So yeah, I will definitely be doing a review of that film when it's out. This isn't in any particular order, so I'm just gonna start with Veronica France, and she is part of the directing duo of Severin Fiala and Veronica France, and they make horror films together, and they've made some of my favorite horror films. And she's actually from Norway, and her most known film is probably Goodnight Mommy. Her most recent film is The Lodge, which stars one of my favorite actresses, Riley Keough, and it's a bit of like it's either you love it or you hate it, and I'm part of the camp that absolutely loves The Lodge. It is definitely it is a psychological horror, and it is super dark. I've literally seen it once, and I do plan on rewatching it, but every time I want to rewatch it, I'm just like, oh wow, this dread. Like, it's just so full of dread, so full of darkness. Yeah. If you're looking for something that's just gonna like crush you, you should watch that. But yes, Veronica France, incredible filmmaker. So excited to see more of what she does. My next director is Julia Ducournau, and she is French filmmaker, and she is most known for her feature debut called Raw, and it stars Garance Marillier, and it is basically a cannibal horror film, and it is incredible. It is one of my absolute favorite horror films of all time. It is just beautiful, gorgeous cinematography, the atmosphere, the score, like everything is just incredible. So you should definitely see that. And her next film, Titane, is actually going to be premiering at Cannes. I'm so excited to see Titane. I cannot wait. My next director is Rungano Nyoni. She is from Zambia, and she's a British filmmaker, and her feature film is I Am Not a Witch, and this is just a beautiful film. I've seen it many times, and each time I get more and more out of it. It is sort of kind of combines superstition and witchery and witches, and sort of like the fear of the outsider, and I cannot wait to see what she does next. I've been waiting, it's been a while since her first film, so I cannot wait to see what she does next. My next director is Jennifer Kent, and if you're somebody who loves horror, you're probably aware of her. She's an Australian filmmaker, and her first film is The Babadook, and it is literally as fun and as scary as it sounds, and it's really creepy, and it's just like a good time. And she's also made a film called The Nightingale, which is not so much horror. It's definitely got horror elements, but it's more of like a really dark drama about a really dark period of Australian history, and it stars Aisling Franciosi, and it's just, for me, I'm one of the people, it's definitely a hard watch, so I definitely warn you to be prepared before you go into it. But for me, it's just a beautiful film. It's an absolute masterpiece of a film, and I think Jennifer Kent is one of the best directors working right now, so I cannot wait to see what she does next. My next director is Lynn Ramsey, and she's a Scottish filmmaker, and she is probably, depending on your taste, she's probably more known for her film with Joaquin Phoenix, You Are Never Really Here. But she's also made the film We Need to Talk About Kevin, which stars Tilda Swinton and Ezra Miller, and that film is strange. Like, at first it doesn't seem like a horror film, but the more you watch, the more you get into it, it is just like wow. And I think she's one of the directors that is really able to balance drama, horror, thriller, like all these different genre elements, and make something really unique. I mean, even You Were Never Really Here, the way that it's shot, it has these beautiful sequences, and it's obviously like really dark as well, and she's somebody that has quite a great sort of command of being able to tell really dark subject matters without sort of overly exploiting the subject or sort of like glamorizing or anything like that. She's just a really great director, and I cannot wait for her new film that she is doing with one of my favorite actresses, Rooney Mara, and also Joaquin Phoenix, who she's working with again. My next director I'm so excited to talk about because I've been wanting to talk about this film on this channel. Rose Glass from the UK. She is just a powerhouse. She's only made one film, and the film that she's made is called Saint Maud, and I don't even know what I should say about Saint Maud other than that it is a perfect film. It is a masterpiece. It is one of my favorite films maybe ever, and it only came out last year and it came out this year depending on where you live, but it is brilliant. It stars Morford Clark, and it is a religious horror film, but this is a completely unique film, and it's so sort of like restrained and just this little compact film, but it just blows you away, and the third act is insane. That is all I will say. It is insane, and you should definitely see Saint Maud. It is incredible, and I cannot wait to see what Rose Glass does next. I'm so excited. Similar to Rose Glass, this director is also from the UK, and she is Prano Bailey Bond, and her film has just come out very recently. It came out in June. It is called Censor, and it is so unique and so much fun, and it basically is set in the 80s and is about a censor who has to go looking at video nasties, and which are sort of like exploitation films in the UK, and she has to sort of like decide which ones are going to get banned, which ones don't. But obviously all of this sort of starts to sort of pervade her life, and there's all this trauma that she's been like pushing away, and it's just such a uniquely shot film. It has a great performance by the lead, Niamh Alga, and it's definitely a lot slower than a typical horror film. It's definitely a slow burn, so just like be aware of that, but definitely it has like some really great moments, really creepy energy the whole way through, and it's one of my favorite films of the year so far. So cannot wait to see what Prano does next. My next director is probably a lot more known than the other directors. This is Karen Kusama, and she is American, and she's probably most known for the masterpiece that is Jennifer's Body. She's also directed a horror film called The Invitation, and that film is very creepy and very dark and very weird and just like a really great horror film. So you should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. She's also made Destroyer, which is more of a thriller with Nicole Kidman, and she'll next be doing a Dracula remake, so I'm so excited for that. I cannot wait. My next director is Anna Lily Amirpour, an Iranian filmmaker, and she has made a film called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, and this is a black and white film, and it's basically about a woman who eventually becomes a vampire, and it's really cool. Has a lot of like cool sort of like Nosferatu elements and vibes and Dracula vibes, but it's also very modern and like rooted in like Anna Lily's sort of like culture and atmosphere and her world, and it's just like a really great film. And next we will be seeing her direct. She's already made this film. It is called Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon, and it stars Kate Hudson and John Yong-seo from Burning, and I'm so excited to see that film. And lastly, my last filmmaker is Annabella, and she is from America, and her film that she's most known for is The Love Witch, and it is just a gorgeous film. It has incredible cinematography, and it's sort of like shot and made to look like a sort of like 60s era film, and it's just like so cool, and all the like witchcraft elements and the actual rituals and just like the whole like themes and energy is just like so cool, and it's one of my favorite films like ever pretty much. So I cannot wait to see what Annabella does next. Yeah, that was my 10 best horror female directors that you should definitely be watching right now. I would recommend all those films that I mentioned. These are all incredible filmmakers, and as you can see, a lot of these filmmakers have only made 1 or 2 films, so hopefully as we keep going, we keep moving, that will change, and we'll get to a place where horror female filmmakers are all over the space and get to make like even bigger budget horror films. I would really love to see that, and so that's why I'm so excited to have people like Nia DaCosta, especially a black woman in the horror space. It's really inspiring for somebody like me who really loves horror and would love to make those kinds of horror films one day. So yeah, I hope that you got a lot of new filmmakers to watch, new movies to watch, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.